beautiful people. Bring YouTube on. Getting them in here in the room. Let's see. Go live. Go live. Trina, hey girl, hey. Come hang out. Robert Betwabu. What's up, peoples? Okay. Yes. Okay. Make sure my volume up over here. All the way. All right, y'all. We live in both places. Y'all. All right, y'all. Happy Sunday. How many of y'all remember to set y'all clocks back? I mean, well, if everything is digital, it did it for you. But I woke up like clockwork at my normal time. Boy, you know how good it felt to realize I got another whole hour? Yo, I just laid in the bed scrolling to the last minute. Then I'm rushing. I was literally woke a whole hour. I said, I'm going to go back to sleep. No, because once I started scrolling, that was it. I scrolled my hour away. I ain't even gonna lie, I did. I scrolled the extra hour away. I should have went back to sleep or got up early and came down here and been like 5 minutes early, but all right, y'all. It is Sunday. Happy Sunday. November the 7th, 2021. It is day 296 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets and of the 3-year consecutive day count, y'all. Day 964. Let me write it down. 296. Today, y'all, we're going to read Psalms 77 through, I didn't even see how long it was. Might just be the 3 chapters. You know what? I'm going to just shoot for, I don't know. Let's just go to 80. Let's go to 80. Then we'll pick up where we left off in Shakespeare's Secret Messiah on page 151. All right, beautiful people. So let's go ahead and do the Shama. Pull it up. I get to. Christy, hey girl, hey. Yeah, we had date night last night. If you saw the page, we went to In Real Life, go see the In Real Life comedy tour with Mike Epps. I love a good comedy show. I grew up watching comedy shows and stuff, so it's kind of become my thing. Anytime a good comedian, even some of the local talent, they come. We'll go see them, either catch them at the Funny Bone or whatever venue they're going to be at. Like, they was at the Scope last night, sometime at Chrysler Hall, whatever. But we'll try and get tickets and go. But it was hilarious, all with the exception of the local talent that they used. Man, they did that little boy so wrong. I mean, I've never been to a comedy show where they booed you like it was the Apollo. Nathaniel, peaceful greetings. Like, I literally felt bad for him. Like, dude couldn't even finish his act. You could say he was trying to keep it together and stuff. Then he kind of broke out. He was like, you know, because he told us he had only been in comedy for 2 years. You know, so he's still working out some of his jokes and stuff. And it was like, we could tell that, you know, but we gave him a chance. Then the couple we was hanging out with last night, the husband, he started booing him. James was like, dude, really? You gonna boo him? He 20 years old, man. Literally, he was 20 years old. He's a student at Hampton University. But when I say dude was horrible, he was horrible. And I've seen some bad comics in my day, but he was horrible. I'm not going to give his name because it could have just been stage fright. He couldn't get his words together, and the crowd, they didn't make it any better. Made the boy start stumbling over his words. You could see it in his eyes. I'm like, oh man, this is horrible, right? He tried to come back and say like, he pretty much like, y'all booing me, but I'm going to keep on going because this is my dream. You know, that was probably the highlight of his act. standing up for himself. This is my dream. Comedy has always been my dream, and I'm going to do it no matter what people think. I know I'm going to get boos here and there. And everybody say, yeah, go ahead, bro. That's right. Keep working it out. That's probably the only time he got claps on and everything. Then he went back to telling his horrible jokes. He said, I got one more joke after he finished giving his speech about, he gonna still keep going doing his dream. He said, I got one more joke before I get out of here. And it was more horrible than the rest. I can't even tell you what it was. He was talking about sex between his mom and dad and walking in on them and how they talk to one another. I could tell they had the potential to be funny. See, here's what happened. He added too many unnecessary words in his speech, right? And it just brought the booze back. They brought the booze back so much, he couldn't even finish it. He just put the mic down and left. And then the guy who was hosting, I forgot his name. I never really heard of him, but he is hilarious. He came out there and talked bad about him. I'm like, this is terrible. He was like, man, that's some bull. I'm like, boy, I hope this man keep pursuing his dream. He had the potential to be funny, like you could tell, but it's just like maybe with his first huge crowd, I don't know. But the rest of the show was hilarious. Mike Epps was the headliner, then you had some more there, then you had Earthquake, and you had Bruce. They were hilarious. They've always been hilarious. I've been watching them since Def Comedy Jam days when I was in high school. So, but enough of that, y'all. But yeah, laughter doeth the heart good like a medicine. It's probably why I play so much. I love to laugh. I grew up like laughing all the time. Like I would literally get in trouble in school and in church for laughing too much. Even in boot camp, I got dropped. You know how they make you do push-ups and stuff? Because I didn't think it was... Life is not that serious. My RDCs would get so pissed with me. And I wasn't doing it on purpose, like to be a smart aleck or anything. But the way things I see play out in my head, it is super hilarious. And I will bust out in a laugh like I'm watching a comedy show. They got me in trouble a couple times. I'm like, man, Pam, you got to get this laughter under control, girl. So, but into who, y'all? Let's do this Shema. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the mighty one of our fathers, has promised us, in a land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one. And you shall love Yahuwah, your mighty one, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand. And they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them upon the posts of your house and your gates. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah, our mighty one, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. And that is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting at verse 3. I started verse 3 because I just like to pull out the gist of it. Y'all should really know this chapter by heart. Man, all right, y'all. Let's go ahead and pull up Psalms, my favorite book in Psalms. No, I spelled it wrong. Lord have mercy. Hold on. Okay, y'all. Psalm chapter 77. For Jeduthun, the choir director, a psalm of Asaph. Hold on, let me fix this a little bit on the screen. Okay. I cry out to Yah. Yes, I shout. Oh, that Yahuwah would listen to me. When I was in deep trouble, I searched for Yahuwah. All night long I prayed, with hands lifted toward heaven, but my soul was not comforted. I think of Yahuwah and I moan, overwhelmed with longing for his help. Do not let me sleep. I am too distressed even to pray. I think of the good old days long since ended. When my nights were filled with joyous songs, I search my soul and ponder the difference now. Has Yahuwah rejected me forever? Will he never again be kind to me? Is his unfailing love gone forever? Have his promises permanently failed? Has Yahuwah forgotten to be gracious? Has he slammed his door on his compassion? And I said, this is my fate. The Most High has turned his hand against me. But then I recall all you have done, O Yah. I remember your wonderful deeds of long ago. They are constantly in my thoughts. I can't stop thinking about your mighty works. O Yah, your ways are holy. Is there any God as mighty as you? You are the God of great wonders. You demonstrate your awesome power among the nations. By your strong arm, you redeem your people, the descendants of Jacob and Joseph. When the Red Sea saw you, O Yah, its waters looked and trembled. The sea quaked to its very depths. The clouds poured down rain. The thunder rumbled in the sky. Your arrows of lightning flashed. Your thunder roared from the whirlwind. The lightning lit up the world. The earth trembled and shook. Your roar led through the sea. Your pathway through the mighty waters. A pathway no one knew was there. You led your people along that road like a flock of sheep with Moses and Aaron as their shepherds. Yahuwah is one. Shalom, shalom. All right, y'all, next chapter. Psalm chapter 78. And this is also a psalm of Asaph. O my people, listen to my instructions. Open your ears to what I am saying, for I will speak to you in a parable. I will teach you hidden lessons from our past, stories we have heard and known, stories our ancestors handed down to us. We will not hide these truths from our children. We will tell the next generation about the glorious deeds of Yahuwah, about his power and his mighty wonders. For he issued his laws to Jacob. He gave his instructions to Israel. He commanded our ancestors to teach them to their children so the next generation might know them, even the children not yet born, and they in turn will teach their own children. So each generation should set its hope anew on Yah, not forgetting about his glorious miracles and obeying his commands. Then they will not be like their ancestors, stubborn, rebellious, and unfaithful, refusing to give their hearts to Yah. The warriors of Ephraim, though armed with bows, turned their backs and fled on the day of battle. They did not keep Yahuwah's covenant and refused to live by his instructions. They forgot what he had done, the great wonders he had shown them, the miracles he did for their ancestors on the plains of Zoan in the land of Egypt, where he divided the sea and led them through, making the water stand up like walls. In the daytime, he led them by a cloud, and all night by a pillar of fire. He split open the rocks in the wilderness to give them water as from a gushing spring. He made streams pour forth from the rock, making the waters flow down like a river. Yet they kept on sinning against him, rebelling against the Most High in the desert. They stubbornly tested Yahuwah in their hearts, demanding the foods they craved. Yes, baby.
Take this off.
Yes, baby. There you go. You been in my refrigerator, you come down here with chocolate in your hands. I'm sorry. They even spoke against Yahuwah himself, saying, Yah can't give us food in the wilderness. Yes, he can strike a rock so water gushes out, but he can't give his people bread and meat. When Yahuwah heard them, he was furious. The fire of his wrath burned against Jacob. Yes, his anger arose in Israel. For they did not believe Yah or trust him to care for them. But he commanded the skies to open. He opened the doors of heaven. He rained down manna for them to eat. He gave them bread from heaven. They ate the angels' food. Yes, baby.
TT just gave us some ice cream.
Okay, very good.
I didn't ask.
You didn't ask? She just gave it to you?
No, everyone.
Everyone? Well, that's awesome of TT. They ate the food of angels. Yahuwah gave them all they could hold. He released the east wind in the heavens and guided the south wind by his mighty power. He rained down meat as thick as dust, birds as plentiful as the sand on the seashore. He caused the birds to fall within their camp and all around their tents. Their people ate their fill. He gave them what they craved. But before they satisfied their craving, while the meat was yet in their mouths, the anger of Yah rose against them, and he killed their strongest men. He struck down the finest of Israel's young men. But in spite of this, the people kept sinning. Despite his wonders, they refused to trust him. So he ended their lives in failure, their years in terror. When Yahuwah began killing them, they finally sought him. They repented and took Yahuwah seriously. Then they remembered that Yahuwah was their rock, that Yahuwah Most High was their Redeemer. But all they gave him was lip service, and they lied to him with their tongues. Their hearts were not loyal to him. They did not keep his covenant, yet he was merciful and forgave their sins and did not destroy them all. Many times he held back his anger and did not unleash his fury. For he remembered that they were merely mortal, gone like a breath of wind that never returns. Oh, how often they rebelled against him in the wilderness and grieved his heart in that dry wasteland. Again and again they tested Yahuwah's patience and provoked the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his power and how he rescued them from their enemies. They did not remember his miraculous signs in Egypt, his wonders on the plain of Zoan. For he turned their rivers into blood so no one could drink from the streams. He sent vast swarms of flies to consume them and hordes of frogs to ruin them. He gave their crops to caterpillars. Their harvest was consumed by locusts. He destroyed their grapevines with hail and shattered their sycamore figs with sleet. He abandoned their cattle to the hail, their livestock to bolts of lightning. He loosed on them his fierce anger, all his fury, rage, and hostility. He dispatched against them a band of destroying angels. He turned his anger against them. He did not spare the Egyptians' lives, but ravaged them with the plague. He killed the oldest son in each Egyptian family, the flower of youth throughout the land of Egypt. But he led his own people like a flock of sheep, guiding them safely through the wilderness. He kept them safe so they were not afraid, but the sea covered their enemies. When he brought them to the border of his holy land, to this land of hills he had one for them. He brought them to the border of his holy land. To this land of hills he had one for them. He drove out the nations before them. He gave them their inheritance by lots. He settled the tribes of Israel into their homes, but they kept testing and rebelling against Yahuwah Most High. They did not obey his laws. They turned back and were as faithless as their parents. They were as undependable as a crooked bow. They angered Yahuwah by building shrines to other gods. They made him jealous with their idols. When Yahuwah heard them, he was very angry, and he completely rejected Israel. Then he abandoned his dwelling at Shiloh, the tabernacle where he had lived among the people. He allowed the ark of his might to be captured. He surrendered his glory into enemy hands. He gave his people over to be butchered by the sword because he was so angry with his own people, his special possession. Their young men were killed by fire. Their young women died before singing their wedding songs. Their priests were slaughtered, and their widows could not mourn their deaths. Then Yahuwah rose up as though waking from a sleep, like a warrior aroused from a drunken stupor. He routed his enemies and sent them to eternal shame. But he rejected Joseph's descendants, and he did not choose the tribe of Ephraim. He chose instead the tribe of Judah, and Mount Zion, which he loved. There he built his sanctuary, as high as the heavens, as solid and enduring as the earth. He chose his servant David, calling him from the sheep pens. He took David from tending the ewes and lambs, and made him the shepherd of Jacob's descendants, Yahuwah's own people, Israel. He cared for them with a true heart and led them with skillful hands. Oh, yo. Yo, I love this. Tanya 3000, shalom, sis. Yesaf, shalom, shalom. Psalm 79, a psalm of Asaph. Yes, Christy, I know, right? Yahuwah, I will always remember you, right? Everything we have, everything we do, all that we are is because of him, right? Even the people or the things sometimes that we think have done it for us, they were just a resource used by Yah to get to us the things that he wanted us to have. And even some of the things that we didn't want and we didn't think we need. But in his overall wisdom, he saw that the thing that we didn't need and didn't want, we really needed. We just couldn't see it, right? We ain't see it till later. Father, forgive us for ever doubting you, right? Excuse me, let me take a sip of water. My voice is kind of, it went kind of like a little hoarse and stuff. So all that laughing, like when I say I laughed last night, y'all, I was laughing to tears. Okay. I'm sorry. Psalm 79, a psalm of Asaph. O Yah, pagan nations have conquered your land, your special possession. They have defiled your holy temple and made Jerusalem a heap of ruins. They have left the bodies of your servants as food for the birds of heaven. The flesh of your godly ones has become food for the wild animals. Blood has flowed like water all around Jerusalem. No one is left to bury the dead. We are mocked by our neighbors, an object of scorn and derision to those around us. Oh Yah, how long will you be angry with us? Forever? How long will your jealousy burn like fire? Pour out your wrath on the nations that refuse to acknowledge you, on kingdoms that do not call upon your name, for they have devoured your people, making the land a desolate wilderness. Do not hold us guilty for the sins of our ancestors. Let your compassion quickly meet our needs, for we are on the brink of despair. Help us, O Yah, the God of our salvation. Help us for the glory of your name. Save us and forgive our sins, for the honor of your name. Why should pagan nations be allowed to scoff, asking, where is their God? Show us your vengeance against the nations, for they have spilled the blood of your servants. Listen to the moaning of the prisoners. Demonstrate your great power by saving those condemned to die. O Yah, pay back our neighbors 7 times for the scorn they have hurled at you. Then we, your people, the sheep of your pasture, will thank you forever and ever, praising your greatness from generation to generation. Perry, shalom, shalom. Auntie, Anita, good morning. Last chapter for the day, y'all. Psalm chapter 80 is for the choir director. It's another song of Asaph to be sung to the tune, Lilies of the Covenant. Please listen, O shepherd of Israel, you who lead Joseph's descendants like a flock. O Yah, enthroned above the cherubim, display your radiant glory to Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh. Show us your mighty power. Come to rescue us. Turn us again to yourself, O Yah. Make your face shine down upon us. Only then will we be saved. O Yah, the God of heaven's armies, how long will you be angry with our prayers? You have fed us with sorrow and made us, excuse me, and made us drink tears by the bucketful. You have made us the scorn of neighboring nations. Our enemies treat us as a joke. Turn us again to yourself, O Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. Make your face shine down upon us. Only then will we be saved. You brought us from Egypt like a grapevine. You drove away the pagan nations and transplanted us into your land. You cleared the ground for us, and we took root and filled the land. Our shade covered the mountains. Our branches covered the mighty cedars. We spread our branches west to the Mediterranean Sea. Our shoots spread east to the Euphrates River. But now, why have you broken down our walls, so that all who pass by may steal our fruit? The wild boar from the forest devours it, and the wild animals feed on it. Come back, we beg you, O God of heaven's armies. Look down from heaven and see our plight. Take care of this grapevine that you yourself have planted, this son you have raised for yourself. For we are chopped up and burned by our enemies. May they perish at the sight of your frown. Strengthen the man you love, the son of your choice. Then we will never abandon you again. Revive us so we can call on your name once more. Turn us again to yourself, O Yah, the God of heaven's armies. Make your face shine down upon us. Only then will we be saved. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading from the writings today. Psalms chapter 77 through chapter 80. All right, y'all. So let's pick up where we left off at yesterday. It's Shakespeare's Secret Messiah. Let me see how long it is before we get to the book of Revelation, y'all. I'm so excited to get there. Yo, hold on. I'm talking about Pliny. Romeo, just gonna get into Romeo and Juliet, y'all. If y'all had a chance, if y'all haven't had a chance, go back and watch some of them Shakespeare's movies so you're not left out in the dark. While all this, he's piecing it all together, okay? It's a section on Hamlet, the next section. The Merchant of Venus. Like, they have movies or plays for all of these. Some of them are long. They're about 3 hours long. Not all of them, though. Okay. Domitian's Trinity and Acts. I think it's the Acts, then it goes into Revelation, y'all. Hold on. There we go. Yep. Chapter 11. Where we at? We're still in chapter 4? I think we're still in chapter 4. Okay, so it's going to probably be about 2 weeks. Yeah, we're still in chapter. We'll be finishing up chapter 4 today. Y'all, I'm telling you, if y'all are end time prophecy heads like me, y'all have got to stay. For I'm so excited about this and how he breaks this down. Yes. Wait, first of all, did you just dip that cup in my bag of chocolate?
Mom. Mommy.
Yes.
Jonathan can end the video.
No, Jonathan can't end the video. Where Jonathan at? He sleep.
He sleeps so late.
Okay, because y'all was up late playing the game and stuff. Did you get that chocolate to pass out to people?
No.
Because you are not going to eat all that chocolate, sis. No, you're not. Don't go back in my refrigerator. You better leave my stuff alone. Dad's still asleep, ain't he?
When it comes to Reese's and her,
she is her mother's child when it comes to Reese's. Let me go ahead and, well, I've been confessing my sins to the brethren. I have an addiction, y'all. Peanut butter and chocolate. And my kids, I don't need to be eating all that anyway, for real. I really don't. But I love the combination. Peanut butter and chocolate. So Reese's is my thing, right? I should have left them alone. But I got the family size bag. Not that I was going to eat all of them. I get the family size bag because I know they really like them too. But then when they go in our little refrigerator and our stash and start digging through our bag, I get a little perturbed. Like, look, stay out of our room, first of all. Sneaking in there when they dead asleep. It's crazy because they will sneak in there, crawl to our little refrigerator, open it up, and start taking snacks out of it, the candy, sneaking sodas and stuff. And then we go to open it up like, Wait a minute. And they downstairs, hiding in a corner somewhere, passing out candy to one another and sodas. Oh, give me a Sprite. I'm like, look, I'm going to put the lock back on my refrigerator. I'm going to have to get like a, we're going to have to get like a keypad entry into our house, and maybe like a scan where it scans our eyes. We got to put our thumbprint to keep our kids out there. Trina's is Kit Kats. Oh, yeah. Pray my strength in the Lord, y'all. I hate saying that, but it's funny. Okay, all right, so let's pick up this reading, y'all. Look, okay, so we paused on page 151. Okay, what was we talking about? Okay, it's still talking about Shakespeare, giving you the background of her life. If you don't know, Shakespeare was a woman. Shakespeare was her stage name, so it breaks down how she came up with the name and why she even created the character Shakespeare in order to push her agenda, kind of, right? She was fighting back against the Flavian dynasty during that time, during Titus's reign and everything, and all that kind of meshes together with the New Testament. So
Mommy,
yes,
Josh calling you.
Can these questions wait till after I'm done? Like, y'all know I be in here doing this in the morning. Y'all just, it's like y'all can't hold y'all questions until after I'm done. Is it a matter of life and death?
Why would it be?
Then why are you sitting here trying to tell me what it is if it's not a matter of life and death? It's not your other parent located in this house. Can you go tell Dad?
He is asleep.
Wake him up like y'all always do. Listen, okay, y'all. So she was kind of flip-flopping what they had did. So the New Testament is a spoof on the Hebrew people and during Titus's campaign. And because and Shakespeare, mind you, Shakespeare, not only was she was a woman, she was Hebrew. She was a sister, black woman, right? So it's going over her life and how all this came into play and how this whole Shakespearean era really got started, right? So they were spoofing her people or our people, us, the Negroes. They kind of call them out, right? And she in turn, that's why I said it'd be really good if you go back now, even if you've seen the Shakespeare plays and stuff before or read through it, now you understand this and you understand where it's coming from and why it was done. You have to watch them all over again, and it will just blow your mind as you watch it from the beginning to the end, and it'll be like, why have I never caught that before? And you will see how often they use religious references from the New Testament and the Old Testament and stuff. And if you never wonder why, you will really begin to put the puzzle pieces together, right? Yo, I'm telling you. Okay, so we'll pick back up, and I just started at the beginning of this this section right here. I know we read just this first paragraph of it, but I'm gonna reread it. Okay, page 151. The Bassanos and the music of the plays, right? Remember, they actually got in because her family, each different culture is known for something, or they do something better than other cultures. And the Hebrews just do music better than anybody, right? And so that's how they got into the imperial court, right? Because their family was musicians and they were really good at their craft, right? So that's how Sis and her family got up in there and she was able to do this whole Shakespeare thing, right? She was a Negro. The Bassanos and the music of the plays. The Shakespearean plays are intensely musical, and the focus on the music and the plays suggests that their author came from an environment that included some study of it. Most of the plays refer to music in their text, and there are in a total of more than 300 musical stage directions. The plays incorporate about 100 ballads, popular songs, and other secular music. In the early history plays, the musical references tend to be limited to flourishes of trumpets, drums, and alarms, such as in Troilus and Cressida. However, by the middle period, the plays began to incorporate more sophisticated music, such as the consort of mixed instruments in Midsummer Knight's Dream, and the use of harp boys in Antony and Cleopatra. This increasing sophistication leads to the integrated use of the ballads in The Winter's Tale. As Rolf Duffin has pointed out, the playwright also uses song titles as literary puzzles. For instance, the character Rogero in The Winter's Tale is intended to remind the audience of a ballad by that name and thereby bring up the imagery of a jealous husband who killed his wife. Reference 65 in the back of the book. Many of the songs used in the Shakespearean plays can be seen as autobiographical to Emilia Bassano, the heroine of the song Oyster Pie, mentioned in Taming of the Shrew, Act 4, Scene 2, goes to church not for devotion's sake, but to spy out the one who will be her true love. The female subject of Hi Ho for a husband, mentioned in Much Ado About Nothing, Act 3, Scene 4, and Act 2, Scene 1, ends up like Emilia with a much older man groaning at her side. And this is where we paused at yesterday, so this is where the reading actually begins today, right here. The plays include a number of songs about Jews, but there is virtually no Christian music. For example, Hamlet, Act 2, Scene 2, used Jephthah, judge of Israel, as a portent for the fate of Ophelia. That's right. There was a whole little section, if you're familiar with that story. Who is one? No. See, y'all starting from yesterday. I just looked up and saw y'all comment. It probably triggered you when I read that section again when my husband came in with his shenanigans. We was talking about the female subject, hi ho, right? Y'all funny. I'm not pregnant. Look. So, but in Hamlet, I was watching Hamlet earlier yesterday, and there's a whole section, probably about a good 3 to 4 minutes where they bring up the portion about, well, they didn't actually talk about Jephthah, but they said his name, and he was referring to this particular gentleman he was talking to as Jephthah and referring to his daughter. So if you understood the story in the Old Testament about Jephthah and his daughter and what actually happened, you will see it was good. It was really good. You got to go watch it, y'all. The plays include a number of songs about Jews, but there is virtually no Christian music. For example, Hamlet, Act 2, Scene 2, used Jephthah, judge of Israel, as a portent for the fate of Ophelia. It is a song that describes, It is a song that describes how Jephthah kept his vow to God to sacrifice the first thing that he met on his return home, which turned out to be his daughter. A song praising Solomon, simply entitled King Solomon, was referenced twice in Love's Labor's Lost, Act 1, Scene 2, and Act 4, Scene 3. Another Jewish song that can be seen as autobiographical to Emilia was the Ballad of the Godly Constant Wife Susanna. This song, used in Twelfth Night, Act 2, Scene 3, The Merry Wives of Windsor, Act 3, Scene 1, and The Merchant of Venus, Act 4, Scene 1, tells the story of a virtuous Jewish, I'm getting tongue-tied, y'all. Virtuous Jewish wife who resisted evil. It is easy to see how Emilia Bassano might have seen a connection between the song's lyrics given below and her own life. On the other hand, it is difficult to explain why such a Jewish song would have made a strong impression on the Will from Stratford as to have caused him to use it in 3 of his plays. Quote, "There dwelt a man in Babylon of reputation, great by fame. He took to wife Susanna, a woman of fair name, brought up on Moses' law. But resting in the orchard by two elders, had a lust and tried her chastity. And when she resisted, brought her to trial so that she would die. Then the Lord raised up Daniel to deal with these wicked men who falsely lied that they had seen her with a young man under a tree, and have them put to death under Moses' law. End quote. Now, if y'all were here when we were reading in the Apocrypha a few months ago, y'all know about Susanna, right? And this is exactly what happened. Matter of fact, it's in not only the Apocrypha, but there is a section also in the Legends of the Jews that gives a lot of detail about what actually happened. Susanna and Bel and the Dragon is actually a part of the book of Daniel, right? Love the book of Daniel, right? It's a part of the whole prophecy scene thing, right? But Susanna was actually, it wasn't a separate book. It was all of that was a part of Daniel, because it's telling what Daniel did during his time, right? And they just kind of broke it up and they put it in Apocrypha, saying, you know, that's not authorized. It's hidden, right? But a lot of those things that they said were hidden or not authorized had a lot to do with women during those days, and they didn't quite go with the narrative that they were trying to push about women, that they're there for the use of men, right? Because books like Susanna would give women strength to cry out to Yah and know that Yah will hear them and stand up and defend them. He defended his women like no other. Think about men who have daughters, right? Good fathers, right? And not that you have to be a horrible father to care about your daughter, but you get what I'm saying, right? And moms will too. But dads will kill you over their daughters, right? You did what, baby? What did he do? Oh, say less. That's your head, right? Okay, so if you haven't read about Susanna, it's really good. You have to go read the book of Susanna, right? And you will see what they're talking about here. Let me just read this again. Quote, let me see. On the other hand, it is difficult to explain why such a Jewish song would have made so strong an impression on the Wilfram Stratford as to have caused him to use it in 3 of his plays. Quote, there dwelt a man in Babylon of reputation, great by fame. He took to wife Susanna, a woman of fair name, brought up on Moses' law, but resting in the orchard by 2 elders, had a lust and tried her chastity. And when she resisted, brought her to trial so that she would die. Then Yahuwah, I'm used to replacing these general terms and putting Yahuwah's name. I'm going to read it like it is here. Then the Lord raised up Daniel to reveal with these wicked men who falsely lied that they had seen her with a young man under a tree, and have them put to death under Moses' law. End quote. A possible member of Emilia's family is known to have worked on the musical performances in Shakespeare's plays. The flutist Robert Johnson, who wrote the music for songs in several plays, including Full Fathom 5 and Where the Bee Sucks, From the Tempest, and songs for Cymbeline and A Winter's Tale, reference 66 in the back, may have been her maternal cousin. Robert also worked with Ben Jonson to produce the music for his plays, as did Emilia's second cousin, Thomas Lupo, the son of her uncle Alvis's daughter, Laura Bassano. The next section, the plays and Emilia's identity. It is known that some of the sources used by the author of Shakespearean corpus existed at the time only in Italian, such as Second Percorone, so the playwright was able to read in that language. While some scholars dispute this, the playwright does seem to have been knowledgeable in the area of Italian-English translation. The character Holofernes in Love's Labor's Lost, for example, was created as a caricature of Florio, the compiler of the Italian English dictionary used in England in this era. Having come from Italy, the generation of Bissanos prior to Amelia's could, of course, speak Italian, as attested by a letter of their correspondence with the Queen in that language. Understanding different languages was a valuable skill, and knowledge of Italian would probably have been passed along to Amelia from her father and family. More than a third of Shakespeare's plays reveal a detailed knowledge of Bassano's home near Venice. Shakespeare knew the length of the Lombardy Mile, was familiar with the canal system linking Verona, Milan, and Padua, understood the unique Venetian calendar, the more Veneto, reference 67, and used proverbs uniquely to Italy, such as sound as a fish, reference 68 in the back. It can therefore be inferred that the playwright had a degree of knowledge of both Italy and its language that was unusual for an Englishman. Moreover, as shown below, the playwright needed to have at least some understanding of Hebrew in order to create the various puns in the play that used the language. And that's reference 69. This combination of areas of knowledge was unusual in England during this era, restricting the pool of possible authors for the plays. Many names of Bassano family members appear in the plays, especially the ones set in Italy. Reference 70 in the back. In Merchant of Venus, for instance, a character is actually called Bassanio, the spelling of the familial name that is recorded in the London church where many of the family are buried. Reference 71. And Amelia appears in Venus on Othello. That's right. If y'all haven't watched Othello yet, go watch the one with Lawrence Fishburne, y'all. That was so good. Me and my mom was just talking about it yesterday. It's so good. And Amelia appears in Venus in Othello as the wife of Iago, as does Lodovicio, the name of one of her first cousins. In Taming of the Shrew, there is a girl who needed to find a good husband and who had, like Emilia, a father named Baptista. Another Amelia appears in Comedy of Errors, another in Two Noble Kinsmen, yet another in A Winter's Tale. In Hamlet, there is a clue that the author of the verse is a woman who must speak her mind or the play will not get written. The lady, quote, the lady shall say her mind freely or the blank verse shall halt for it, end quote. That's Act 2, Scene 2, line 324. There's also a hint that a group of theatrical players might be Jews, as they don't have the accent or the walk of Christians. Act 3, Scene 2, lines 30 through 35. Another clue suggesting that Amelia Bassano wrote the Shakespearean literature was the famous mulberry tree purportedly planted by Shakespeare in his garden at Stratford. It would have been appropriate for Amelia to plant such a tree, since the coat of arms granted to her family featured a mulberry tree. And you know, the coat of arms is like the family crest, right? Okay. And they used a mulberry tree for it. The mulberry tree is called Morus in Latin, which is translated as Moor, M-O-O-R, in English. As Amelia Bassano was nicknamed the Moor, and her family used the mulberry tree as its symbol, the tradition concerning the Stratford mulberry tree suggests a link between the Bassanos and Shakespeare. The planting of the Moor tree in Stratford was likely both a clue left to indicate Shakespeare's identity, as well as a clever reversal of the humor regarding trees and the Gospels. Amelia Bassano planted her tree, Shakespeare, in the middle of Christendom, just as the Romans had grafted their branch, Caesar, into or onto the messianic roots of Judaism. And for y'all to understand that, what I just said, you have to have been here from the beginning of Caesar's Messiah to understand this on what they did when they created the Gospels. And pretty much all of the New Testament, his whole family listed out everybody who wrote, who took which section and how they developed this. If you're not familiar with that, and when we was going through that, breaking that down, you won't get it. And how this is a continuation of what was done, and how the Hebrews were fighting back. Because remember, in the New Testament, what they did, they actually took the law of Yahuwah's people, the Jewish or the Hebrew people, and they said, since we can't beat them, we got to join them. So we're going to take their law and we're going to twist it up. We're going to change it. And we're going to reintroduce it into him. And it was a spoof when they did that, because if you go back and read it now with eyes to see, like if you, like I said before, if you spend time reading the Old Testament enough and really understand it, just not like on this spiritual, super spiritual level, just realizing the story, the good story, just like you would get a book and get into the details of it and really understand the plot and what's going on. When you get to the New Testament, you begin to read it, it's going to be like, wait a minute. It's going to start poking at you like, wait a minute, hold on. But this is, and you're going to start, it starts this war in your spirit, right? It starts this war in your spirit, and contradictions began to happen, right? But then you kind of push that to the side because you got people teaching from the pulpit or ignorant teachers. The Bible doesn't contradict itself. You know, it's the entire Bible is the complete authoritative word of God, right? And it's like those questions never get answered. And it's just like, but if you understand what was happening, if you place yourself in that time and in that era, the entire Bible would then begin to make sense to you, right? And so this last little thing right here, Amelia Bassano planted her tree, which is Shakespeare, in the middle of Christendom, just as the Romans had grafted, referring to the New Testament and JC, just as the Romans had grafted their branch, Caesar, onto the messianic root of Judaism. Okay. The Bassano coat of arms bore 3 silkworms over a mulberry tree that was no doubt related to the fact that the Bassanos came from the region of Italy that produced silk. Jewish traders originally brought silkworms to Italy, and it is likely that at some point the Bassano family had a connection to the silk-producing business. However, symbolism within a coat of arms, was typical in this era, and the mulberry tree was almost certainly chosen as a deliberate representation of the family who had originally come from Morocco as Moors or black folks or Negroes, right? And I ain't just making it up. They knew this during that time. He even put it in here, and he put Negro in parentheses and pointed out the fact that they were not like other black people, but specifically the Negro, right? You know, no offense to any other race who may be here, just bringing out a point about history, okay, and how it's been glossed over and covered up in identities, which is called the great identity theft, right? Okay. However, symbolism within a coat of arms was typical in this era, and the mulberry tree was almost certainly chosen as a deliberate representation of the family who had originally come from Morocco as Moors. Elizabethans took heraldry, like a herald heralding a message. Elizabethans took heraldry seriously, and a family's coat of arms was more than a decoration, but a symbolic identification of the family that bore it. For example, what is she screaming incoming for? Or she's screaming I'm coming? Oh, I thought I heard her say incoming, and I paused like, what's incoming? I was expecting to hear some big boom, but maybe she just said, I'm coming. Okay. Ain't no telling here in my house, y'all. Shenanigans. Elizabethans took heraldry seriously, and a family's coat of arms was more than a decoration, but a symbolic identification of the family that bore it. For example, Queen Elizabeth addressed her friend, Lady Norris, as Main on Crow, since the crow was the Norris family's crest. Heraldry often used puns on the family it depicted. The Lucy family had luces or pikes blazoned on their shields. Many of Shakespeare's works contain references from a strange poem by Thomas Moffat entitled The Silkworms and Their Flies. It was used as a source for several of the sonnets: A Midsummer's Night Dream, Romeo and Juliet, and a number of other plays. Indeed, Shakespeare's works are embodied with references to silkworms and moors to such an extent that one scholar, after identifying Emilia as the dark lady of the sonnets, wrote that Shakespeare must have been obsessed about Emilia Bassano and everything about her. Of course, another explanation would be that the many unusual intersections between Shakespeare's works and Emilia's life came about because the literature was, as literature always is, to some extent, autobiographical, because Shakespeare was Emilia. She was Shakespeare, right? Okay, let me see how many more. I thought we was going to finish this. Like, we really can. It's Sunday. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 more pages. I'm going to read it. It's Sunday. If y'all got to go ahead and go. Obedient to y'all. Yeah, you watched Othello yesterday. It's good. Yeah, the Lawrence Fishburne version is really, really good. Right now, if you got the time and the patience to watch one of the older versions, it's easier for you to watch the modern version to kind of get a gist, because it's easier to understand them speaking, especially, someone of our day and age where we see and we know they actually live in our era, by getting it, because although they're still talking in the vernacular and the way and the accent that they talk back then, it's easier to understand because it seems clearer to us today than when you go back and watch an older version. But now, since you watch that version, if you go back and watch one of the older ones in black and white, it's really easy to keep up with it, and you can see how close they kept everything. It's really good. Mariah, good morning, sis. Good morning. Okay, y'all, let's finish reading the rest of this. The Shakespearean Project. So we'll be done in about 10 minutes if you got the time, unless I start talking about something else. I'm going to try and stay on track, y'all. The Shakespearean Project. The missing pages from Shakespeare's son-in-law's diary and Ben Jonson's complicity in the plot, as shown below in the analysis of his descriptions of Shakespeare, suggest that a number of people helped Emilia Bassano with the Shakespearean Project. This group was likely made up of other hidden Jews and, at least at its beginning, one sympathetic Gentile secularist, Christopher Marlowe. Certainly, the most audacious act perpetrated by this group was to implant the name of their Gentile Jesus, Shakespeare, directly into the King James Bible. Let's read that again. Gosh, y'all gotta keep up. Y'all gotta keep up with what's going on here. And this great delusion that has overtaken the world with people who are smart up here and can put together a movie like Warner Brothers, y'all. They did it and write it. Yo, this is amazing. Like, I used to be really pissed about this, about the whole identity theft thing and finding out who we really are and all this stuff. And now it is, like I told y'all, I like escape rooms and puzzles and stuff and things that make you think. But to unravel this takes me on a whole nother journey, right? And it's just like, wow. Like, they were friggin' geniuses. Listen. Certainly, the most audacious act perpetrated by this group was to implant the name of their Gentile Jesus, Shakespeare, directly into the King James Bible. They did this to mirror Titus's miraculous linkage of his Gospels to Hebraic literature. Remember, they took the Hebrew scriptures, the Holy Writ, the Word of God. They took it. They took things away, they added things, they changed things, and they reintroduced it and gave it back. But before then, before they came up and did their shenanigans, they was just burning the scrolls left and right. Ezra, the prophets was crying out, "Oh, yeah, your Torah is burnt," right? Yo, okay. During the creation of the King James Bible, a number of Hebrew scholars were consulted to help with the translation. One of them apparently was also working with Emilia on her Shakespeare project and changed the translation of the 46th Psalm to miraculously record the name of Shakespeare within the Christian canon. This strange phenomenon is well known to scholars who heretofore have had no explanation for it. In the King James Bible, the word shake appears 46 words from the beginning of the 46th Psalm, and the word spear 46 words from the end. This was a different translation than had previously been given for the psalm, which is not surprising as the words shake and spear do not exist in the original Hebrew. According to the arithmetical humor was the fact that the King James Bible was published in 1610, the year Shakespeare turned 46. The 46th Psalm was chosen for the miracle as it is a declaration that the God of Jacob will be a refuge for Jews no matter where earthly kingdoms were moved or how hard the heathen raged. This prayer would have resonated with Jews like Emilia Bassano living inside English Christendom or Hebrews. Remember, Jew is the going term that they use, but he even breaks down in so many words that who they're referring to are the Negro Jews or the Hebrews, right? Quote, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed and the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. What's crazy is how our daily reading is now in the book of Psalms, right? Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged. The kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice. The earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. End quote. And that's Psalms 46, right? It is also likely that the dates of Shakespeare's birth and death were forged as a part of the project. The records of Stratford's Holy Trinity Church state that Shakespeare was baptized on April 26. Since it was customary to baptize infants 3 days after their birth, this indicates that he was born on April 23rd, which is St. George's Day, the patron saint of England. Shakespeare is also recorded as having died exactly 52 years later on April 23rd. This miraculous occurrence was likely brought about by Emilia and her allies working to propel their perfect Gentile into English history. They simply forged the documents that placed his birthday and death on the feast day of England's patron saint. They did so to make him more seem more perfectly English and to mirror the miraculous chronology that the Romans created for Jesus' life. The records regarding Shakespeare's son were also very likely forgeries because his son's name of Hamlet certainly seems to be part of the humor regarding ham that runs through the Shakespearean literature. For example, just as Hamlet means maker of ham, Hamnet, Hamnet, Hamnet would comically suggest a collector of ham. Falsifying historical documents was evidently not a difficult thing to do during this era. The Jews who created these forgeries would have been inspired by Titus, who once claimed that he could have, under other circumstances, become the greatest forger in history, and who presented bald-faced lies as historical facts to certify the historicity of Jesus. Another example showing the scope to the Shakespearean project, or at least Ben Jonson's awareness of it, was his parody of Shakespeare's coat of arms, which had as its logo, "Not Without Right." Jonson created a well-known spoof of Shakespeare in his play entitled Every Man Out of His Humor, wherein a country bumpkin who states that he can write himself a gentleman now applies for a coat of arms which would feature a hog's cheek between two puddings, pudding being a meat pie or sausage. The bumpkin's coat of arms had the logo "Not Without Mustard." Y'all, we almost done. We only got a couple more paragraphs, and this will be the end of chapter 4. Though at this point, the reader may find Jonson's humor hard to understand, it will become obvious in the light of the analysis of Shakespeare plays given below. The swine flesh between the puddings on a fool's coat of arms was a comic reversal of the cannibalism humor in the Gospels that described the eating of bread of Jewish flesh with the eating of swine flesh of the Gentiles. The coat of arms reference to mustard also played on a comic theme concerning cannibalism, the comic point being that the Gentiles would need mustard to go with their ham. Jonson, whose portrait suggests someone of Semitic background, may have been a crypto-Jew. In any event, he was certainly one of those that assisted Emilia with her project. Though Emilia spearheaded the project, she kept her identity as the authors of the plays secret for a number of reasons. One, of course, being that she was a woman. At this time, women did not even attend the theater in Elizabethan England unless they were whores or adulteress. Reference 72. Though this began to change after 1600, women still were not encouraged to write works of original literature, which is why intellectual women like Mary Sidney confined most of their writing to translations, and Amelia's poetry was so unusual. And it's the last little paragraph, y'all. Amelia as the Dark Lady. A.L. Rose, R-O-W-S-E, A.L. Rose popularized the view that Amelia was the Dark Lady of the sonnets during the 1970s, though his arguments have subsequently reviewed various criticisms. Reference 73. Research by Peter Goodwin has shown that her family called Emilia the Moor. Reference 74, suggesting that she had a black or swarthy skin tone and was indeed a dark lady. The author of the Shakespearean plays had a keen interest in young women with dark skin. They are a constant feature of Italian plays and are responsible for the fair, foul imagery in many others. This imagery focuses on the question of whether or not black can be fair, a theme that modern critics interested in race and gender issues also tend to dwell upon. There are multiple characters referred to as Moors in the plays, and multiple indirect references to Moors, such as being sick as a Moor or sycamore. What a play on word, right? There are multiple characters referred to as Moors in the plays, and multiple indirect references, such as being sick as a Moor or sycamore, and the name of the Empress Tamora, who has a child by the Moor Aaron in Titus Andronicus. Tamora is an Italian abbreviation of I love you more. Teamo Mora. They have that in Italian. Teamo Mora. However you say, I don't speak Italian, right? But they have it in parentheses. So Tamora, the woman who got impregnated by Aaron, remember they talked about that in Aaron. It was a play on the Levitical priest Aaron. You know how we do the blessing, that Aaron, right? They said he was a spoof, or they were using him to imitate the Aaron of the Hebrews in the Old Testament, right? So you know that story if you were here to hear it, right? And so her name said I love you. It meant the definition of Tamora in Italian. Te amo mora is I love you more. Or she was speaking to Aaron, because Aaron, Moses, they were Moors. They were black people, right? I love you more, or I love you, black man, right? Anyway, that's the end of chapter 4 of Shakespeare's Secret Messiah. If you don't have it, y'all get it. You don't have to. You don't. But it's a good reference to have, to read through and understand. But if you get this, you definitely have to get Caesar's Messiah, right? It's not just good breaking down information in history, but the references abound where you can go check into history on all of these things, right? And all these people that knew about this, right? All right, so let me change this and put this over here. All right. Oh, we read some pages, y'all. Okay. It's all right, y'all. That's the end of our reading. It is Sunday, November the 7th, 2021. Day 296 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 964. We read Psalms 77 through 80. Yes. Yes.
I just want to end the video.
Okay, I'm about to end it. I'll call you. And we read Shakespeare's Secret Messiah, the end of chapter 4, pages 151 to page 161. All right, beautiful people. So we're about to go ahead and do the blessing. We can get up out of here. If my mouse will work. Okay.
Mom,
yes,
the dog
baby.
Here.
The doll here.
Yep.
Hey, doll.
She already got dressed. We got her swimsuit on.
Okay. She going to the pool riding on the back of her lion. Okay.
Mom?
Yes, babe.
Where are we going today?
We ain't going nowhere today. We chilling out. I'm about to go back upstairs and climb in the bed with Dad. We going y'all seen the harder they fall. I ain't worried about it. Been talking about it. I started. My sister said, "What is wrong with you?"
Was that no surprise?
Say, get out of here.
It was boring.
Okay, well the surprise was really for Bella. I know they want to back. Y'all see our picture yesterday? Well, YouTube did it, but Facebook, y'all see our picture that we took at Disney on Ice yesterday.
I'm gonna show you.
The little light skinned little boy on the end. It's the voice you hear. Isaiah don't never smile at nothing. Was this our surprise? It would have been better for him if he was able to buy up everything. You know, they got all these flashing swords and stuff. It's like, we got 18 of y'all. Y'all lucky we got tickets for everybody to come here to this.
Look.
But we did. Okay, she want to show the picture. This picture right there. This child right here. That's the voice you heard. That's Isaiah.
And this
He was
is
like, you know how you got that one child that's like mad all the time. The one y'all hear me talk about. If somebody came and told me your son just hauled off and punched me, I would believe you. That Isaiah, him.
And this little
unless he gets to buy multiple toys wherever we go, he said he don't have fun. He was like, was this our surprise? But we didn't get anything. I didn't have fun. No, this was dumb. We should have went to Disney World. We're like, ooh, little Reggie, get out of here. You know. So, but it was Disney on Ice. It was. You wanted to go to Sky Zone. We went to Sky Zone a few weeks ago, son.
That was in Illinois. They have a Sky Zone here. No, they have one in Newport News.
No, that's Rebounders. We've been there, but they do have a Sky Zone.
Oh, Sky Zone I saw.
No, there's unless they open the one. No, they have a Sky Zone out in Virginia Beach.
Look.
We can go to that one. It ain't gonna be today though.
Child. Him mad.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's go ahead and end this.
And I'm pretty.
You so pretty, Kat. You so pretty, Kat. So beautiful.
And I put my dress up.
Did you have fun at Disney on Ice yesterday?
No.
Oh, well, I did.
I still want to see Elsa and Anna.
I know. And she said she had fun, but she was mad because she couldn't take a picture with Elsa and Anna from Frozen. The Frozen scene portion was the best for me. Now, listen, okay, I like musicals, right? But, see, I grew up on musicals. Now, the Disney, you know, I like them, but you won't catch me sing them all the time. I like musicals like West Side Story and The Five Heartbeats and stuff like that. And like Bang Bang Shoot 'em Up. Because most of my years, we didn't have boys. So it's more like Bang Bang Shoot 'em Up. What's up, stuff like that. But when Bella comes along, we got to get more girly and stuff. So now we got to get back into like the girly musicals and the Frozen and Elsa. Yes, baby.
What is this?
That's Dora. That's the whale from Nemo. That's Nemo. Who is that? That's Woody. What's her name? What's the girl from Woody? From Toy Story. I know her name. I just forgot.
What?
Oh, I know her name.
The girl. What's the girl from Toy Story, y'all? The cowgirl.
I know her name.
What's her name?
Jessie.
Jessie. Thank you. And you got Buzz Lightyear. Then you got Joy from... What was that movie with all the different emotions, y'all? You got Joy, then...
Inside Out.
Yeah, Inside Out. Thank you.
My mom never listened.
You got the sadness, and you got the angry. Then you got... What is that? What was the green girl? Like the grossness one. Then you got Fear right there.
Her was
Envy. Was it Envy?
Yeah.
Envy. Okay.
Envy was so mad at them.
Yeah, she was, right. She jealous. This is just
Anna,
about just
Olaf, Anna, Olaf, and Elsa.
And Elsa, yeah. So she had fun, but she was mad because she couldn't take a picture with them. But guys, it was so many.
Mommy.
It was so many people there. Yes, babe.
Look.
I know. It's Dora. Or Dory. I say Dora. Dory.
You said Dora.
I know. No, I didn't mean Dora. I meant Dory. It was so many. Adaya. Hey, girl. Look, I think I called your name out the other day. It was one of the days that I didn't see you come in. She said, Shalom, fam. I've been missing you. My silly device was acting up with sis. Catch up. Go back and watch our shenanigans yesterday when my husband made his appearance toward the end of the video. Okay.
I got in the video.
Oh, we got in this video because they doing too
When y'all were
much.
gone, Josh already had ice cream.
Well,
We decided to get more.
so you decided to get more, but Bella already told me that all of y'all got ice cream yesterday.
And don't forget, she's trying to let her way out.
She included herself, but she said TT gave it to y'all.
Exactly.
Okay, we don't have a problem with that. But anyway,
I should have enough.
Bella was sitting there singing all the songs. She was all into it too. But like I said, the Frozen scene was the best one. It really was. Hey, bring it back in here. You know, so we probably knew all the songs from Frozen. Although, you know, I only learned them because she watched it so much and she walked through the house singing the songs and stuff. The cold never bothered me anyway. Okay, all right, give me that. Boy, give me the picture. Give me the picture. Give me the picture. Give it to her. This is her thing, huh? Take it, girl. Sheesh. Isaiah, Mr. Grumpy. We can call you Grumpy Grandpa. Hey, Gramps. Make sure you put that top back on the ice cream and put it back in my freezer. The blessing is found in Numbers. That girl. Chapter 6, verse 22 through 27. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them,
Big.
Yahuwah will bless,
Big.
Yahuwah will kneel
Big.
before us, presenting
Big.
gifts, and will guard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need. All who need? All we need. All we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name. Whose name? Yah's name.
My name and your name.
Yah's name on us because we belong to him, right? And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. I love y'all. Nah, Di, we weren't in Florida. Do you know of any of the like-minded brethren here?
Who is this?
I don't know, but we were talking about this.
Guys?
We're actually
Look. Who is this?
They all know who it is. We've actually been to Florida, but it's been a few years. But we were actually talking about this. We were actually, I know it's gonna be like a whole year away, right? But we'll let y'all know. But we're gonna take the kids to Disney. Which one is there in Florida? Disney World, Disneyland. We're gonna come back because we have these like season passes for Busch Gardens. Although it's not Disney, we're gonna get like some. I don't know about the season passes for Disney. They're I don't know because we not like if we lived in Florida, we definitely would. So we could go all the time.
Disneyland tickets can also be used as Disney World tickets.
We know. Thank you, Gramps. He looked at me like don't call me Gramps. But we were actually thinking about
Mommy,
getting one of the
cream?
Disney timeshares,
Mommy.
right? But yes, baby.
Next, you give me some ice cream.
Yeah. But we were thinking about getting like a Disney timeshare because when we travel, we need discounts, right? Because hotel rooms and stuff for us and rental cars, because it's a lot of us, we need more space. The vehicles cost more and the rooms cost more because there's too many of us to pile in one room, right? And if we on vacation, the kids is not coming in the room with me and my husband because we on vacation. We're gonna do what vacationers do, right? So we gotta get rooms for the kids, although they will be attached to our room, but we can lock it and control the entrance and entering, the exits and stuff. But we were thinking about getting a Disney timeshare because we have the ability, because we would like to visit like all the Disney lands and worlds, and how they have different attractions in different places. But that's something we've been thinking about doing, investing in. I'm getting one of those. For one, it'll save us money, and we plan on using a lot, because if you don't know by now, we like to go places, especially we got kids. We got to just kind of keep things fun, and we just like to have fun. My husband and I, we like big kids ourselves, so we're thinking about investing into a Disney timeshare, which brings us back to Florida and everything. And we're thinking about, well, we're definitely going to use it like every year, and even if we have other family members that want to go, because we have like this timeshare or whatever, it can be like not just us,
It's in the video.
but other family or friends that may want to go during the time
Listen to the video.
or whatever. But yeah, definitely, like when we come to the area, I'll let y'all know. It's gonna probably be like a year from now, So, but if we come sooner, because me and my husband have been talking about coming to Florida for a couple other things as well. I'm gonna have to check out, see some areas we all at, right? Maybe hang out, especially like with the couples. We love to hang out with couples,
Mommy.
make fun date nights and stuff, so but yeah, I'm gonna have to let y'all know. So if I'm in y'all area or whatever, if y'all ain't mass murderers or stalkers or nothing like that, we might link up. You just end the video? Okay, she said she done. Sis is over it. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Thanks for hanging out. See y'all back here tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Love y'all. Remember, the Sabbaths rotate back to... I'm still talking. Wait! The Sabbaths rotate back to Friday. So we back at the Friday. We back at the Friday Sabbaths. Girl, go ahead and end it. Sheesh. All right. Love y'all.